In Louisiana, we are allowed to be taught in public schools that creationism is real and a science.
Evolution and global warming are scientific fact.
How do you know that?
I'm literally a book.
I have legitimate concerns about the 2020 election. In Oklahoma, we can teach it in schools.
If your legislator passes it.
Students deserve to examine every aspect of the election.
There's no evidence for these claims, and there never has been.
How can you be so sure?
I read.
Human cloning is not scientifically possible.
They teach you that in Tennessee? What about evolution?
Teachers don't have to teach evolution, not since the monkey trial.
Excuse me?
In 1925, there was a high-profile trial about whether a teacher could teach evolution.
Why was it called the monkey trial?
Because Darwin's theory says that men are descended from apes.
No, it says that men and ape have common ancestors.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, that's enough of that.
That was a weird episode of Jubilee.
That wasn't a real episode of Jubilee, but it falls under fair use because it was purely a parody for educational purposes.
So you could be taught different versions of science depending on what state you're from?
Yeah.
What's it like in schools around the world?
Many countries in Europe require the teaching of evolution, including publicly funded schools in the UK. And evolution has been taught in Japan for over a century. But India, for instance, removed all mentions of evolution and the periodic table from their science books in 2023. Here in the US, state laws can determine a whole lot about what you learn, but it can also depend on how much funding states and cities give to their schools. Like how we can only afford a TV and a projector from 1998. And it might get worse in the near future. The Department of Education has a ton of programs that help schools all over the country.
Like what?
Programs that support services for students with disabilities, lower class sizes with additional teaching positions, and pay for social workers and other non-teaching roles in schools.
Are you keeping your job?
Why, did you hear something?
So what happens to those programs if they're cut?
During his campaign, Trump called for shifting those functions to the states.
How would he do that?
We don't know, but the cuts are already happening without a plan.
Oh, no. What genre is it going to be this time?
Have you ever seen Marie Kondo on Netflix? Congratulations on your appointment to the Department of Education. I'm excited to work with you. Trump said if I do my job well and make enough cuts, I'll put myself out of a job because the department won't exist anymore. Okay, we should be choosing what we want to keep, not what we want to get rid of. Okay, what about the office that conducts education research and administers federal student tests? Over 200 people work there. Keep only the jobs that speak to your heart. Then take the plunge and discard the rest.
Okay, I'm gonna fire everyone but 20 people.
Whoa, that's a lot. I mean, discarding hones one's decision-making skills.
Okay, next up is the Office for Civil Rights.
When you are choosing who to keep, ask your heart.
I'm choosing to cut this office in half.
In half?
Wow, we have offices all over the country.
Do they spark joy? I'm gonna eliminate the leases in San Francisco, New York, Boston, Chicago, Dallas, and Cleveland, and I might consolidate the 3 buildings in DC. And next we have the staffers who oversee the student loan services and contractors. Now remember, the Trump administration promised that staff cuts would not affect the process that students use to apply for federal financial aid.
I'm gonna fire 24 of them.
Wait, but those people manage the key piece of the system. And then there's the people who ensure the companies servicing the loans do their job. Well, reduce until you reach the point where something clicks.
I'm gonna get rid of all those people.
All of them?
How many people have been laid off so far?
Let's do the math. Hit the lights. A senior department official said a week ago that 1,315 people were being laid off, and about 600 others had accepted offers to leave the agency voluntarily. Then there's the 63 probationary employees that had already been laid off.
What's a probationary employee?
Usually just means someone who started recently.
Like this YouTube channel.
That's exactly right. It's like this YouTube channel, which is why people should subscribe. Okay, so we add this up and get 1,978. Originally there was 4,133 employees, so we subtract 1,978 from that, which means 2,155 employees are remaining. Almost half? Yep. Now recently, a coalition of 21 state attorneys generals sued the education department in federal court.
Because of all the people that were laid off?
Yes, they argued this was an unconstitutional effort to dismantle the Department of Education without congressional approval.
Congress has to approve?
Yes, it would require a supermajority of 60 senators, but Republicans only have a 53-47 majority.
Didn't Trump just sign an executive order to shut down the department?
He did, but it still requires congressional approval. You can learn more about that in our first video.
So that lawsuit is saying that the Trump administration is intentionally making the Department of Education dysfunctional so that it shuts down on its own.
Yes, and it's not exactly a secret. Linda McMahon from that last video said the cuts were the first step in shutting down the department.
And she said that Trump told her that the goal was to put herself out of a job.
You do pay attention. What are you watching?
It's one of those videos where people find out if they got into college.
Fun, let's see it.
Okay.
Yeah! Yeah!
Oh, it's part of a series of videos. Let me play the next one.
Fresh! Come on! Come on!
And this is why we don't have phones in class.
Dada.
That's Dada, that's right. Uh-oh.